It does rock. You know him as one of the greatest bass players in the history of rock and roll, but after seeing that brilliant ESPN promo put on by fantasy baseball, you also probably figured out Geddy Lee is also a fantasy baseball fan. The front man for the group Rush hanging out with us right now here on the Hot List. And Geddy, that commercial, man, when I saw it, I just thought it was great. What was it like for you being on the set?
Oh, it was a blast. A bunch of great guys, John Kruk, Peter Gammons, Buster, Eric, Matthew Berry, and all the players themselves. It was really kind of a fun day for me just to hang out with all these guys and geek out on baseball and just have some fun.
How'd they get you involved in it?
They just contacted my management, and because they see me at all the Blue Jay games sitting behind the home plate and scoring the games, and they know I'm a big fan, and they thought maybe I'd like to come down and help legitimize their rock opera with some real rock playing, you know.
Hey, talking about legitimize it, what did you think of John Kruk in the leather pants and Peter Gammons in the long hair?
They were the hardest working men in show business that day, I can tell you that, because they both had the toughest gig. It was very hot in that studio, and John was wearing this leather underneath this breakaway business suit, and the business suit was not breaking away, so they had to do it over and over and over again. So he really paid his dues that day, I'll tell you.
You mean Kruk couldn't break out of a suit on that body? Anyway, he's losing weight anyway. I'm pretty sure many of the players were in awe of you, but were you in awe of any of the players that you saw?
Well, I have great respect for all athletes. I'll tell you, you know, being a musician, my great escape on the road is watching these guys do their thing. So to meet Gary Sheffield was a huge thrill for me. Fantastic hitter for a long time. I have to say that was a big moment for me.
Hey, and Chef was actually playing the drums and looked like he knew what he was doing. How would you compare him to your drummer, Neil Peart? Would you trade Peart for Sheffield?
Geez, you're putting me on the spot here, Mike. I don't know that I can say that in public.
Keep it real.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about fantasy baseball. How long have you been a fantasy baseball fan?
Oh, I've been playing fantasy baseball for over 15 years, yeah.
And how many leagues are you in right now?
I'm only in one league. It's a private league. It's a 12-team keeper league where we have 40-man rosters and 25 active players.
All right, it's a private league. Any big rock and roll legends or any big names that we know about in that league?
No, just, you know, people from all walks of life, really. Some writers, some accountants, some real estate people. We did have an actor in our league for a few years, and I didn't discover that till I was on the set of the Gilmore Girls about a month ago. Turns out one of the actors on that show was kind of in disguise and in our league all these years, and I didn't even realize it till he came up to me and started talking to me.
On the Gilmore Girls? What's his name? You know his name? You remember his name?
Yeah, it's Sean Gunn. His name is Sean Gunn, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Tell me about your strategy when you're picking your team.
Well, I'm a big believer in the strategy of hitters first, pitchers later. I guess that's a common strategy, but you know, I think hitters are more predictable, and unless it's one of the elite pitchers, it's very hard to predict the kind of year he's going to have and the kind of support he's going to get. So I go for the hitters first. All
right, give us a couple of guys you think may have great years, somebody you just had to have on your team this season.
Well, I really like Alexis Rios this year. He started breaking out last year, and he had that unfortunate injury that sidelined him and kind of derailed the great season he was having. So I'm looking at him to have a breakout season.
All right, and come on. I know you're from Toronto now. Do you pick with your heart, or do you pick because it's the right thing to do? I know Toronto is Alex Rios' home right now. Do you pick with all Toronto players, or do you pick because they're just going to have a good season?
No, I pick the guys who are going to put up the numbers. I want to win, man.
All right. You ever dream or thought about actually owning a real team, a minor league team, or buying into maybe the Toronto Blue Jays?
Well, listen, I think it would be the greatest thing on earth to have your own baseball team for real. But the economics of the game are such now that's pretty rarefied air where you're in the economic situation to be able to run a ball team and own a ball team.
Okay, all right. Of course, your main job, of course, is being the front man for Rush. You got a new record coming out. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we finished a record in January called Snakes and Arrows, And we just released the first song from that, which is a song called Far Cry. And May 1st, the album is in stores, and we're just in rehearsal now to prepare for our tour that starts in June.
All right, before I let you go, can I get you to hit that last note that you hit in that promo for ESPN? I mean, I just thought that was awesome, man. Can you do that for our audience that's listening right now?
I think it's too early in the day for me to hit that note.
Oh, you haven't had your tea, you haven't had your
That's right. I've got to have my crumpets and my tea to warm up for that.
All right, Geddy Lee. Hey, man, it's just been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for hanging out with us here on the Hot List.
Pleasure. Great to be here.
And it's real.